Tonight, the toughest welterweights on the planet throw down in Chi-Town for Glory 44 Chicago. In the headline fight, it's confidence versus determination as welterweight champion Cedric the Best Doumbé defends his belt against Myrtle the Predator Grunhard. These two have been battling on social media, but now they'll take it inside the ring. Grunhard wants revenge and promises a knockout. But Doumbé has successfully defended his title twice, and with his unique style and mind games, he's an expert at getting under an opponent's skin. And it's an all-Chicago affair as welterweights Richard Abraham and Daniel Morales face off. Abraham needs a win to get back on track after a stunning start in Glory, but Morales is dangerous and growing in confidence. Anything can and will happen when these two do battle, with the winner moving on to the upper tier of the division. Plus, a four-man welterweight contender tournament sees Haruk Grigorian return to the ring after his controversial knockout by Grunhard at Glory 42. Hold on to your seats as the welterweights go to battle at Glory 44 Chicago. We welcome those of you watching in over 180 countries around the world. We are in Chicago, Illinois, home of the World Series champion Chicago Cubs. And tonight, our welterweight world championship will be on the line. This is Glory 44 Chicago inside the Sears Center. My name is Todd Grisham alongside Joseph Valtellini. And you really love being in this arena, don't you?
Yeah, this arena holds really dear to me. Back at Glory 11, I came here ranked number 6 in the world. I scored a knockout here that moved me to number 2. So this place in Chicago will always hold dear to my heart.
That, of course, was a welterweight contest, and I hope you like welterweights, because that's all we got for you tonight as we jump into the welterweight rankings. Of course, right at the top, the champion, Cedric Doumbé of France.
You're going to see these rankings change quite a bit after this contenders tournament, but I know Antoine Pinto wants to make his way up to the top.
And the most noise tonight will be for this fight. Richard Abraham squaring off against Daniel Morales, two Chicago natives.
Yeah, both Chicago natives. They have the hometown advantage, but they also have that pressure of being at home. And Richard Abraham's looking to use his aggressive Dutch-style kickboxing to put Morales out.
Richard Abraham on a 2-fight losing streak. Daniel Morales, on the other hand, just picked up his first Glory win, and he is full of confidence.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to use his movement and footwork versus that pressure of Abraham, but I'm pumped to see it.
That fight will be before our main event, the welterweight championship of the world on the line. Cedric Doumbé defending his title for the 3rd time.
Yeah, this fight has started from way back at Glory 28. They fought already with Doumbé getting the win, but Grunhard wants to come back and get this title really bad.
Cedric Doumbé always has plenty of swagger and confidence. Tonight, no different as he looks to beat Grunhard for the 2nd time. And the last time we saw Doumbé, he was facing off against Nicky Holzken, and he made it look easy, Joe.
Yeah, he fought Nicky Holzken twice and put on a dominant performance both times. He's just very unorthodox. He's not going to be your typical kickboxer standing in the pocket. He moves, he switches stances, hits on angles. He's just one talented fighter.
And per usual, Cedric Doumbé is ready to rock and roll and is full of confidence tonight.
In this fight, Myrtle, I have only one option. If you wanna win the fight, you must knock him out. And I never been knocked out, and I will never be knocked out. I'm too strong for that. My shin is strong, my head is strong, my liver is strong. Nicky tried, he didn't do. So I have many options. I can win on point, I can knock him out, so I can choose, If I'm tired, then I win on point, but if I feel good in the ring, I can knock him out.
Doumbé believes the only way he can be defeated is by knockout, and his opponent tonight, Myrtle Grunhard, agrees and feels he's the man to do it.
Yeah, Grunhard is that fighter that, you can never count out. He's just very powerful and very unpredictable.
Here is Myrtle Grunhard, who is a little more subdued than we've seen this week, laser focused, dialed in.
Yeah, he's very emotional when he fights, and I think he's really trying to control himself, but I know he wants to win by knockout, and he doesn't want to leave it to the judges.
Speaking of winning by knockout, that's exactly what he did in Paris, France.
Yeah, here he was with a lot on the line. The winner of this fight got this title shot tonight, and here he came with that behind the head shot to Gregorian, but let me tell you, he's got that title shot from that knockout today.
Here is Myrtle
I
Grunhard.
give my opponent pain. When I give my opponents pain, they can handle it. So I'm going to give him pain. You know, he likes the point system, attack, but I'm going to give him pain. These guys don't make this much hours as I do in the gym or in the ring. They don't fight as much as I do. So that's why I consider myself already as a champion. This fight for me is one of the biggest fights in my career, and you will definitely see me walk out with a glory belt tonight.
So it's Grunhard versus Doumbé for the welterweight championship of the world, but who's got next after that? We're going to find out. It's a 4-man welterweight contender tournament here tonight in Chicago, and with more on that, we send it backstage to Whitney Miller.
Well, Todd, I can tell you that tournaments have become a staple in the Glory Ring, with most of our champions having to win a tournament, meaning that you have to fight twice in one night and you have to win twice in one night. If we take a look at our brackets, you can see in our first semifinal, we have Karim bin Mansour against Harut Grigorian, and you have to wonder how Harut's going to do after his devastating knockout he suffered in Paris. On the opposite side, we have Antoine Pinto, who is a heavy favorite, and newcomer Zach Bonnell, who says that he has nothing to lose, and that is always a dangerous place to be for any fighter. I can tell you, regardless, this is going to be a crazy tournament, so get ready. The semifinal of the tournament is coming up next.
Glory Sports International, the world's premier kickboxing organization, returns to Chicagoland along the shores of Lake Michigan for Glory 44. Tonight, featuring a 4-man welterweight contender tournament and 5 rounds for the Glory Welterweight Championship of the World. All of our bouts tonight sanctioned by the Illinois State Athletic Commission, their acting director Nancy Ilg and their executive manager Joe Camposano are with us ringside. Sears Center, Chicago, are you ready for glory? Let's get started with the first of our tournament semifinals. His last appearance became one of the most talked about fights in all of combat sports this year in Paris. Here is Harut Grigorian.
Well, Joe, depending on who you ask, Harut Grigorian is either showing a lot of toughness, a lot of grit to get back in the ring so soon, or he's being foolish. What camp are you in?
Well, me having to end my career short with concussions, I'm the guy who believes in after you get a lot of brain damage like that, you should take your time, you should recover. But again, his camp, himself, his family are all confident that he's fully recovered.
The doctors cleared him despite that one-punch, massive knockout shot with his back turned to Myrtle Grunhard. But Harut Grigorian, if you haven't seen him fight, don't just look at that knockout and think, hey, this guy's a pushover. He's an animal, Joe.
Yeah, he's a beast. He goes in there forward pressure, and he just throws everything with power. He goes in, throws a lot of hooks, and he's more of a puncher, but he's not going to back up, and he's got a lot of knockout power.
He's coming off a tournament win over Alan Scheinson in Los Angeles. Here is Karim bin Mansour.
Karim bin Mansour can kill you with kindness. I'm not exaggerating. The nicest fighter on the Glory roster, but when he gets in the ring, Joe, he's as tough as they come.
Yeah, he's so tough. He just comes forward and he throws a lot of volume, and this fight's going to be about the volume of bin Mansour versus the power of Grigorian.
Welcome back as we get set to jump into our welterweight contender tournament. Karim Ben Mansour fighting out of France, about to square off against Harut Grigorian, a monster out of Armenia. Here is our tale of the tape. In the welterweight division, all our fights tonight are at the 170-pound limit. Ben Mansour, 32 years old, holds a slight reach advantage over the 28-year-old Harut Grigorian.
And looking at the professional experience, both guys similar when it comes to the amount of fights, but you got to look at that 73% knockout ratio for Grigorian.
Here are our tournament rules here in Glory, a slight differential, especially in the knockdown rule. 2 knockdowns in a round or 3 in the fight will result in a TKO. 3 rounds, though, 3 minutes each.
And tonight in Chicago, 3 judges will be scoring the bout using the 10-point must system. Scoring is based on knockdowns, damage, clean scoring, strikes with an emphasis on spectacular techniques. Finally, if there's no clear advantage, judges are looking at aggressiveness.
Let's send it into the ring in the veteran voice of Glory, Tim Hughes.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this tournament semifinal scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the black corner. He is a 2014 World Tournament champion who brings with him a record of 44 wins with just 11 losses. 32 of those wins have come by way of knockout. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, 1.80 meters, and he weighed in at 169.5 pounds, 76.9 kilos. Fighting out of Armenia by way of Belgium, here is Harut Grigorian. His opponent fighting out of the white corner, a 4-time WKN European champion, making his 5th Glory appearance. His professional record, 48 wins with 7 losses, 2 bouts scored even, and 22 career knockouts. At 5 feet 11 inches tall, 1.80 meters, he weighed into fight time at an even 170 pounds, 77.1 kilos. Here in Chicago tonight, fighting out of Nîmes, France, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Karim Le Pelon Ben Mansour. And the referee in charge of this bout is Oscar Martinez.
Gentlemen, you've had your final instructions. Fight clean, fight fair, protect yourself at all times. Any questions? Any questions? Touch them up. Back to your corners.
When you've suffered as violent a knockout as Harut Grigorian has and you step back into the ring, the first power shot you take always tells a little bit of a story, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're going to see how he reacts to it. Some fighters can become gun-shy after it. Others will keep coming forward. But Harut has that mentality where he does not want to back up.
Harut Grigorian in the black gloves, Karim Ben Mansour in the white. And already Harut stumbling forward, backing Karim Ben Mansour into the corner.
And the big difference in this fight, you're going to see Ben Mansour being a little bit more active, a little bit busier on the outside where, no surprise, Grigorian's going to go inside and power punch.
Fight out. Clean break, clean break.
Joe, you fought in tournaments before. What's your strategy when you go into the first fight?
Clean break.
Well, everyone has a different approach, but the first fight you have to take seriously because there might not be a second fight, so you have to win the first one. Some overlook the first and overanalyze the second.
Obviously, best case scenario is you knock your opponent out as quickly as possible. You go get some rest and get ready for number 2. And that might have sent Ben Mansour down. He stayed on his feet. But a big moment there for Harut Grigorian.
Ben Mansour was able to catch his feet under him.
We'll have to check the replay at the end of the round to see what shot it was that buckled Ben Mansour's knees. Good start, though, for Harut. Huge moment for both these fighters. Win this tournament, and you will get a future title shot.
Nice low kick from Ben Mansour.
And a second one.
I like that Grigorian's throwing a lot more kicks this time around. Usually you only see him boxing a lot more, but he's throwing some good body kicks.
Ben Mansour, not known as a knockout artist, but half of his wins almost have come by knockout. Big knee from Harut again.
Harut has some very dangerous knees up on the middle on the inside.
And there's a body shot and another one. Everything's going right for Grigorian in round 1.
Fight out, fight out, fight out!
In Ben Mansour's last fight, he lost to Congolo via body shots. So I'm sure Harut's going to attack the same approach.
That not ruled a knockdown. Nick Himmer, the manager trainer for Harut Grigorian, is yelling in Dutch, I believe, for Grigorian to keep coming, go for the knockout. And the war-torn, damaged nose of Karim Ben Mansour is taking more damage as blood comes out now.
But this is where his durable side comes into play. If he's able to weather this early storm of Grigorian, rounds 2 and 3 could go his way.
Boy, Harut's letting everything fly. You wonder now if he's going to punch himself out if Ben Mansour survives this round. Big round for the Armenian to start this Glory 44 card.
Yeah, very impressive. He did definitely not gun shy from that knockout. He came forward, put a lot of hands on Ben Mansour. Let's take a look at that early pressure shot.
Looked like a left hand that buckled the knees.
Yeah, but Ben Mansour quickly found it. His legs got back up, still continued to counter and throw right back.
And here's those body shots. Boom! Down low. Ben Mansour, as tough as an old catcher's mitt. And Joe, I know you don't want to look ahead to the second fight if you were fighting right now, but Harut's thinking, man, I let everything hang out in that first round. Hypothetically, I could still have 5 more rounds to go tonight.
Yeah, it's a big task. That's why tournaments are very tough, physically and mentally.
So Ben Mansour survived the first round. We've seen him do this before, Joe, where he absorbs a lot of punishment, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's won the next 2 rounds and gets the victory.
You never count out Ben Mansour.
We haven't seen Harut, though, get tagged with a big shot yet to see how clear his head will be, how good his chin is.
He has that really high defense where he protects his head, but he opens the body a little bit more. So a good strategy for Ben Mansour would be to use his kicks or use his body punches.
The sparring sessions in the Netherlands have become legendary at Nick Himmer's gym. No one wants to train with Harut Grigorian. They can't find sparring partners for the guy.
Yeah, he has one drive, one intensity, and that's keep coming forward and power punching, whether it's sparring or fighting.
What is it? Is it Thursday? What do they call it?
Meat day or?
Meat day. They bring in the meat and tenderize it up on Thursdays. Whoever wants one of Himmer's fighters can get all they can handle. And Harut on the inside again.
Trying to use that uppercut this time.
We saw Ben Mansour earlier this year in Los Angeles in a contender tournament. Won his first fight against Alan Scheinson, but couldn't beat Johan Congolo in the final.
This is actually Ben Mansour's 3rd tournament.
Oh, another knee from Harut.
Stop!
How impressed are you by what we're seeing so far from Grigorian?
Fight!
This is Grigorian's style, and he's, you know, other than that knockout, he was on his way to a contender fight, and a fight that could have put him anywhere close to a title shot. So I expect a title shot from him very soon.
And not to belabor the point, but again, who's to say if Ben Mansour doesn't catch Grigorian flush, he goes back down again. There's a couple of shots to the head as we look at the head punches statistics.
I like that Ben Mansour angled off and threw that uppercut.
Let's go, fight!
How about Ben Mansour still coming forward?
And now he's attacking the body. Very good strategy. You hit that body, it'll open up the head eventually.
Break out, clean break, go, go, fight!
Harut Grigorian telling us yesterday, actually through his trainer, because Harut really does not talk much at all, said, I'm not going to leave it to the judges. I'm going to knock out Ben Mansour, and I'm going to knock out whoever I get in the final.
Clean break, stop!
This is only the 2nd round. These guys have another fight after this.
Fight!
Well, one of them does. Right now it appears to be Harut.
But Ben Mansour is doing better this round. He's found more success attacking the body.
Stop! Watch the hold.
Grigorian trying the spinning back fist. Nobody home.
The power in Harut's punches looks like it's gone.
That right hand from Ben Mansour lands. So a better round 2 for Ben Mansour. Was it good enough to win it, though?
Well, I think it comes. That's a tough one. I stopped myself halfway there, but it's that power, it's the damage, and it's what's doing more damage. And it's Ben Mansour's style is a little bit more, he stays busier with less power, but every time Harut hits you, it does damage. So slight advantage to Grigorian, but the tides are turning. This third round, if you're looking the way this fight's going, might go to Ben Mansour.
Here's our Glory fighter profile on Kareem Ben Mansour, who is the number 3 ranked welterweight in the world today.
Yeah, and he also works with kids outside of the ring, which is very noble. I do the same thing, and a lot of other fighters are giving back to the community that way.
As for Harut Grigorian, his fighting style, brawler, notorious for his relentless aggression. He's 3-2 in Glory with 2 knockouts. But that last fight really was strange. He was fighting Grigorian, or excuse me, fighting Myrtle Grunhart, was fighting him well, got caught with a knee, got cut open, and according to what he told us, felt he was going to the corner to have the doctor take a look, and then got caught while his back was turned, and that was all she wrote. So hypothetically, if Ben Mansour did win that round 2, it should be 1-1 heading into the third.
Stop!
As Harut's name is falling off the back of his trunks. Nice spinning back fist from Ben Mansour, who's found his second wind.
Yeah, he just has this pace that's really hard to match.
Stop! Fight!
Nice jab from Ben Mansour.
Break, break, clean break. Stop. Fight.
We know Grigorian's style is all-out brawling, but Joe, what would your advice have been to him between rounds 2 and 3?
Well, it's going to be to keep coming forward. You can't really get him to change his style, but you can get him to be more active. So it's try to find that energy and keep pushing forward.
Time. Watch the holding. Watch the holding. You ready? Fight.
Either way, both men putting out a lot of energy in this fight.
Nice double hook from Harut. Followed right uppercut.
Fight out. Come on.
You know, Antoine Pinto and Zach Bunnell watching in the back right now. Glad to see this kind of output from both fighters.
Definitely.
Ben Mansour felt he could have perhaps won the tournament in Los Angeles, but he was very tired as well heading to that fight against Juan Congolo, and you can't be tired when you're facing Congolo.
No, it was just that power of Congolo, and he was a little bit more fresh than Ben Mansour. And if he wins this, he'll be in the same situation again. He's putting a lot of energy in this last round.
Stop! Final warning. Final warning. What's the holding? Let's go.
We'll see what the final statistics say, but even if Ben Mansour landed more strikes, I think you'd agree that it's Harut Grigorian whose strikes had more power behind him.
Well, it looks like he's doing more damage based on the blood of Ben Mansour. He's constantly pushing forward, and he just lands. And every time he lands, you can hear the power behind it.
Break. Let's go, guys.
20 seconds to go in this, our opening bout on the Glory 44 card. Our first semifinal. A right hand there lands from Grigorian, and another one, and Ben Mansour may be on his way down. Will he survive the third round?
He's still coming back.
What heart and grit from Kareem Ben Mansour. An entertaining opening bout, our first semifinal in the welterweight division. And Joe, it seems like maybe the last 15 seconds of that round tilted it definitely for Grigorian.
I have to agree, Todd.
The decision when we return.
GloryShop.com is your stop for all things Glory Kickboxing. Represent your favorite world-class strikers and get your own t-shirts, hoodies, hats, training gear, and more. Join your favorite fight club and get your Glory gear today. GloryShop.com. Tradition, style, glory.
Glory Kickboxing is the most action-packed fight sport on the planet. Legal strikes are punches, kicks, and knees. Regular bouts are 3 rounds. Championship bouts are 5, and each round is 3 minutes of action. Outfight your opponent for 10-9. Knock them down for 10-8. In a normal bout or tournament final, 3 knockdowns in 1 round or 4 in the entire bout, and the fight is over by TKO. In a tournament semi, 2 knockdowns in 1 round or 3 in the entire bout, and it's all over. Or you can just knock your opponent out. Sweeps, elbows, and grappling are not allowed. Clinching is okay if you follow up with a knee. Glory rules are designed to bring non-stop, fast-paced stand-up action. To find out more, go to GloryKickboxing.com.
We're back here at the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois. Our first semifinal in this welterweight contender tournament was a good one, Joe.
It was, and it was a lot of back and forth action. The first round was a lot of heavy action from Grigorian, but round 2, Ben Mansour started to show some promise. He was countering back, doing better. In the 3rd round, I expected Ben Mansour to be the one pushing the pace, but Harut Grigorian found some second wind, kept coming forward, and continued to land his vicious power punches.
Ben Mansour was in trouble in the first round and again late in the 3rd, but in between he held his own. As we look at our final strike statistics, Harut Grigorian, 198 thrown, 89 landed compared to 68 from the Frenchman.
And it was Harut really attacking the head of Ben Mansour, just throwing those big looping hooks on the inside. That's Harut Grigorian for you.
Here's our official decision from Tim Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of kickboxing, we go to the judges' scorecard. Here now are the totals. Judge Gabriel Sabedas and Brandon Mason score the bout 30-27. Judge Matt Janicek scores it 29-28, all for your winner by unanimous decision. Now advancing to the tournament final, Harut Grigorian.
Go. Harut Grigorian back on his winning ways. I'm sure he's got to feel a lot of pressure leave his shoulders now because he's on his winning ways, but he has a big, tough fight. One more tonight.
Just looking at his body language, though, Joe, the last thing he wants to do right now is get back and fight again. A lot of energy expended for the Armenian. Here's our updated tournament bracket as Harut Grigorian advances to the final later tonight. Who will he fight next? Will it be Pinto or Bunnell? Coming up later, it's Chicago's own Richard Abraham as he looks to bounce back from a tough loss in Copenhagen in a big way as he faces another Windy City resident, Daniel Morales, who promises to outclass Abraham and send his fans here into a frenzy. But up next, our second semifinal as the brash and arrogant Muay Thai specialist, Antoine Pinto, promises to walk through the man making his glory debut, Zach Bunnell. It's the biggest fight of his life. Can he deliver on kickboxing's biggest stage? We'll find out next.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the other half of the tournament bracket. It was a late call that provides the opportunity of a lifetime to this young talent. Here comes Zach Bunnell.
Zach Bunnell, Joe, taking this fight on short notice, but it's a fight and an opportunity he's waited his entire life for. In fact, he told his late mother before she died that one day he would fight for what he thought at the time was K1, but has now become glory. He said, listen, I will be there one day, Mom. She's no longer with him, but he has dedicated tonight's performance to her.
He had a successful debut here in Chicago at Glory 38 and brings 77 career knockouts with him to the ring. It's Antoine Pinto.
Love him or hate him, at least you care about him. And just follow his social media, and it's pretty easy to find people that say one way or another.
Yeah, he's really promoted himself outside the ring, did a good job with acting and movies and promotions and sponsors. But he does have a lot of experience. He's lived in Thailand his entire life. He's basically Thai. He lives there, owns 2 gyms in Thailand, and he's just very experienced. He's very intelligent, and I expect him to, you know, hopefully put some good work against Bunnell.
And let's face it, Joe, he's a pretty boy, kind of like you, right? The girls love him, the guys are jealous of him, but he just seems to soak it all up, and he's cashing in a big way back in Thailand. Like you said, he's got 2 gyms, he's in movies, he's on magazine covers. He had a sponsor that flew him first class from Thailand here to Chicago. He's living the dream. But listen, he says, I want world kickboxing domination. I don't just want to be a star in Thailand. I want to be a world star. He has a knockout ratio of 58%. And Joe, this guy has been in over 160 professional fights.
Oh yeah, he has 132 wins. Just watch out how intelligent he fights. He's going to really use his jab and his kicks, and just hearing his kick echoes in the arena is going to be incredible.
We're back here in Chicago as we get set for our second semifinal in the welterweight contender tournament. Antoine Pinto of France taking on Zach Bunnell. According to Nick Kalikas of at MMA Odds Breakers, Antoine Pinto the biggest favorite on the card at -800.
And that's no surprise, because you look at this big fight differential. You have 169 fights for Pinto and only 7 for Bunnell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tournament semifinal number 2 again, scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the black corner. This Muay Thai practitioner honed his skills in Thailand. He brings with him for his Glory debut a professional record of 5 wins and 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, 1.80 meters, and he weighed in at 168 pounds, 76.2 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Reno, Nevada, here is Zach Bunnell. Here now is his opponent, fighting out of the white corner, a 4-time world champion on a 6-fight winning streak. His professional record impressive, 132 victories, 36 losses, 1 bout scored even, and 77 career knockouts. At 6 feet, 1/2 inch tall, 1.84 meters. He weighed in at fight time at 169 1/2 pounds, 76.9 kilos. He fights tonight out of France by way of Bangkok, Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Antoine Pinto. And your referee in charge of this bout is Dave Smith.
Fighter, step up. All right, gentlemen, you both know the rules. Clean, fair fight, start to finish. Touch them up, step back. Good luck to you both.
Dave Smith, our referee in charge, and you know Harut Gregorian is watching backstage saying, please go all 3 rounds, and I want everyone to get beat up on the way.
Let's go.
He'll fight later tonight against the winner of this. Antoine Pinto in the white gloves, Zach Bunnell in the black. An emotional night for Bunnell, who was almost in tears in our fighter meeting yesterday, telling us that he promised his mother before she died he would one day fight in glory. Tonight is that night.
He's coming out with a little bit more of a Muay Thai style, staying a little bit more relaxed, using his kicks. With someone like Pinto and having that, big experience gap, I'd like to see Bunnell put a little bit more pressure.
Outside leg kick there from Antoine Pinto, who says, my left kick is better than my right, but they're both extremely painful.
Yeah, they're both vicious. The way he throws his left and right kicks, just devastating.
In the corner of Antoine Pinto is his brother, Leo Pinto, who won his last Glory fight against Adrian Maxim.
Let him go. Let him go. Hey, don't hold him.
And when Leo fights, Antoine is in his corner.
Pinto looking for those low kicks.
Surprised at how flat-footed Bunnell's standing.
A little bit more, he's fighting him more of a Muay Thai style, where I think the best bet would be to bring a little bit more boxing to Pinto.
Yeah, how do you beat one of the best Muay Thai fighters in the world at Muay Thai?
That's why I'm saying get on the inside for Bunnell and try to land his hands.
Conventional wisdom would say if this turns into a Muay Thai style fight, Bunnell has little to no chance. He's a massive underdog for sure.
With Pinto's experience, he's going to keep his range. He's going to stay outside and pick his shots. Everything is really calculated.
Joe, when you fought Muay Thai fighters, what was your strategy?
Well, for me, I really got on the inside. I used my pressure fighting and really got inside and used my boxing and my low kicks. Don't play the point game.
And the pace right now is perfect for Antoine Pinto, who can just stay outside, throw those kicks, pick his shots.
Yeah, and he moves, he creates space. He's blocking his low kicks.
This is the Glory debut for Zach Bunnell, a late addition to this tournament. Said he'd been waiting for the call for Glory.
Let him go. Let him go. Let go of those arms.
Unlike Muay Thai, no elbows in Glory kickboxing and no clinching.
Kick up. Mid-seconds.
The body shot landed there for Bunnell.
I like when he throws his hands.
Time. Good work, guys.
Let's see if we can listen in and hear what brother Leo is saying to big bro Antoine. Well, unless you speak Thai, you're not going to figure it out. Both brothers speak 3 languages, French, Thai, and English.
And you see their father in the corner also, giving Antoine some water.
The lovely Alyssa with us tonight, one of our Glory girls. You can follow her on Twitter and or Instagram. She's been there since the beginning. Truly a super nice person, always fun to hang out with, and she loves her kickboxing.
She does.
Round 2 scheduled for 3. Antoine Pinto in the white gloves, Bunnell in the black. Bunnell fighting out of Reno, Nevada.
Curious to see what adjustments Bunnell's going to make. And there it is, being a little bit more aggressive with his boxing. Stay out of that kick range. Good low kick from Bunnell.
Bunnell does have some pretty solid success in Muay Thai, a veteran of the Lion Fight organization. Has trained in Thailand several times, and he's landing punches now, Joe.
Yeah, that's what I was asking for in the first round. A good adjustment in this round. Let's see what Pinto reacts with. He has been working his boxing.
And look at those total strikes, Joe. Perhaps sneakily so, Bunnell has landed 7 more. Maybe Pinto not winning as handily as we think, or maybe I think. I don't want to speak for you. Did you give round 1 to Pinto?
Definitely round 1 to Pinto. He's using his counter kicks. He doesn't need to do too much. He's using his single strikes. But he has been working his boxing. I'd like to see him let it go a little bit. Practice against a lesser experienced opponent.
That front kick, come on, bring it up.
As far as fighting again later tonight, this is the exact pace that you would want.
Put your heads, let him go. Let him go.
The Muay Thai pace tends to be a little bit slower, and this is why Pinto's taking advantage of this. He's so experienced in Muay Thai rules where he can just take his time, pick away with his kicks on the outside.
And usually in Muay Thai fights, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, the first round is a feeling out process for both fighters.
It's usually 2 rounds. First 2 rounds, it's usually like that for betting purposes. And then they pick it up in the last 3.
They fight 5 rounds over in Thailand. Antoine Pinto became a top 10 fighter in Muay Thai at the age of 17 years old. Said that being a foreigner, he's moved to Thailand from France, no one would fight him, so he'd carry his briefcase and drive around from village to village, hoping that one of the fighters would have to cancel their fight so that he could slip in and get a fight under his bag or under his belt. And that's what he did when he was just a young teenager. It's so amazing to those of us in America to think, hey, I'll send my son or daughter to fight in the ring when they're 11 or 12 years old with no pads. It's a full contact professional fight.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the life they've lived. Living like the Thais.
That's the culture there. It's the norm, not the exception. And now Antoine going deeper in his bag of tricks here. Nice jab, and he got out of the way, too.
I'm expecting to go back to his left kick very soon. Nice head movement.
Looks like Cedric Doumbé in there right now. Nice slickness from Antoine Pinto.
So far, Brunel's been doing a good job at just surviving, and he found some success with his boxing within that round, but I'm hearing his corner. They want him a little bit more active with his boxing, and I have to agree with that. He needs to get in that punch range and keep going. He can't be content with Pinto picking him apart, especially with that left kick.
Kieran Fitzgibbons, the trainer out of the CSA gym in the corner of Zach Pinnell, had his finger right in his face. Joe, what's the message?
Be more active with your boxing.
Sometimes statistics can lie to you. They say numbers never lie, but Pinnell has landed 7 more strikes than Pinto, but I'm not sure there's anyone in this arena right now that thinks Zach Pinnell is winning this fight.
No, it's Pinto controlling the fight, and that's what he does best. He's doing just enough to not overexert himself, save energy for the second fight.
Looks like a left hand snapped Pinto's head back. Going high is Pinnell. Well, Pinnell's showing he belongs here, that's for sure, Joe.
Definitely. With only 7 professional fights, he's standing there with someone with over 160. Doesn't look intimidated.
And there are many that feel that, indeed, Antoine Pinto could be a world champion here in Glory. So Pinnell could be fighting a world champion in the making and is hanging in there. He's landing more strikes, in fact.
Well, he's a multiple-time world Muay Thai champion. Pinto's looking for that kickboxing world title now.
Now, if you're in the corner, Antoine Pinto, are you telling him we're up 2 rounds to none, let's just try and avoid damage and save energy?
Well, I'm an active fighter. I like volume, so I would definitely be telling Pinto to follow up after those kicks. You're freezing him, but put something together after it.
Good 1-2 from Pinto.
Nice low kick from Pinnell.
A little question mark kick from Antoine Pinto.
Yeah, he's getting a little flashier.
I saw some video of Antoine Pinto sparring with Senchai, one of the true legends in Muay Thai, and they traded question mark kicks, and Senchai got the better of that one. There's another high kick from Pinto.
That sparring heated up pretty quickly there. Both guys were back and forth, getting angry with each other. But good job at Pinnell staying inside the pocket.
But, Joe, is this type of strategy from Antoine Pinto going to be good enough to beat Harut Grigorian if he makes it to the final?
Well, maybe he's saving his energy for that output in the second fight. That's the question. He's very intelligent. Everything he does has a purpose. It's strategic. He's not just going to throw. Everything is set up, and he uses intelligence.
He's not intelligent when it comes to his diet. At least that's what you told me, Joe. Pinto unabashedly claims that he eats fast food at least one time every single day.
Yeah, but he trains hard. He trains really hard, and he was underweight. He's actually trying to put on some weight to match the bigger welterweights. He's doing a lot more strength training. You can see the size building up in his legs, the development in his traps and his shoulders, so the strength training is definitely working.
Damage averted for Antoine Pinto, but did he do enough offensively to get the win? Total strikes very close. You never know. The official decision when we return. Just moments ago, Whitney Miller was able to speak to Harut Grigorian's trainer, Nick Himmer.
And I'm backstage with Nikki Himmers, who is Harut Grigorian's head coach. He had an all-out war in this semifinal tournament. What did you think of this performance?
I think it was a good performance from both guys. We know that Karim Ben Mansour is a tough guy. He can take a lot of punches, and he showed us today because Harut is a strong puncher. But it was a good fight from both guys. I think the audience was the winner in this fight. So we're up for the next one.
And speaking of the next one, we don't quite know who's going to be in the finals with you. Who do you guys want?
We don't care. Everybody is welcome to fight with us.
All right, well, good luck tonight. Thanks so much.
Saturday, September 30th, Glory returns to the home of modern kickboxing for Glory 45 Amsterdam. It's featherweight frenzy as Robin van Roosmalen defends his title against Sergey Adamchuk. Nikki Holskin battles for welterweight contention. And everyone's favorite bad boy, Michael, the Dream Crusher Dude, heads up a four-man light heavyweight tournament. Glory 45 Amsterdam, Saturday, September 30th. Don't miss it. So our semifinals are finished, but who won the second one? Antoine Pinto and Zach Bunnell just wrapping up.
Let's take a look at some of these highlights, and it's Pinto starting off really using his kicks, and this fight was all about single kicks from Pinto on the outside, with Bunnell really trying to get inside, trying to land some boxing. Found some success with his hands, some low kicks, but Pinto was able to control the pace of the fight and the distance with his kicks.
As we look at our strike statistics, very close, at least from a total landed. The bottom stat there, 59 landed for Pinto, 57 for Bunnell.
And you can look at based on the rounds, and it was round one for Bunnell being a little bit more active, where it was Pinto who picked up the pace in the third round.
The official decision now from Tim Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you watched it as it happened, and after 3 rounds of tournament action, we go to the judges' scorecard. Here are their totals. Judge Rob Hecko and Judge Kelvin Caldwell see it the same, 29-28. Judge Brian Pachillo has it 30-27, all for your winner by unanimous decision. Now moving on to the tournament final, Antoine Pinto.
Win number 133 for Antoine Pinto, but it was pretty close according to 2 judges.
It was, and he just did enough to win, and that could have been a strategy to save this energy for Harut.
So let's look at the updated brackets. Harut Grigorian winning earlier tonight, beating Karim Ben Mansour in a all-out slugfest. Pinto a much easier route, at least physically, getting past Zach Bunnell. It'll be Grigorian and Pinto later tonight. Coming up next, Chicago's finest square off, Richard Abraham and Daniel Morales.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with our welterweight action and about scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. He brings a renewed spirit and determination to the Glory ring in his 5th Glory appearance. Here comes Daniel Morales.
Daniel Morales, so proud of his Native American roots. He shows a lot of heart in every fight, considers himself to be a warrior in every sense of the word.
Yeah, and he's still very new in kickboxing. He has a 1-3 glory record, so that's 4 professional fights. That's the only 4 fights he has. He didn't really have much amateur experience, but he was thrown in with the elite in glory.
Known as La Maquinta, originally from Mexico, now fights right out of here in Chicago, Illinois. His team of Mike Reed, Octavio Modesto, and Nick Galvan. He's ranked 15th in the world today. What would a win tonight mean for Daniel?
Well, he wants to keep those winning ways. He found success against Pavel Jędrzejczyk last time in Chicago, so he wants to keep those winning ways and launch himself up the welterweight rankings.
This WKF Intercontinental Champion last appeared in Copenhagen at Glory 40. Welcome back, Richard Abraham.
Maximus Richard Abraham. A big contingent of supporters making the trek down here tonight as he looks to get back to his winning ways after suffering tough back-to-back losses.
Yeah, he had a tough fight with Pinto last time here in Chicago. Lost the decision to Jamie Bates, but he's still learning. He's still developing in the sport, but he does need a win. And I know he wants to fight the top 5 in the division, but it has to start with an impressive win against Morales.
Felt like he fought with too much emotion in his last fight against Jamie Bates. Tonight promises to be a little more patient, a little more technical, but easier said than done. When Abraham gets hit, he wants to fire right back.
Yeah, and he's a power puncher. He's no surprise he wants to get inside and land those shots. But he does need to be a little bit more active, and speaking to him, that's one of the things he's working on.
Welcome back here to the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois. Our tale of the tape, Richard Maximus Abraham and Daniel Morales at 170 pounds. Both men based right here in Chicago. And it'll be Morales with a 2-inch height advantage and a 4-inch reach edge.
And when it comes to experience, it's Abraham that has more of the professional experience. But Daniel Morales shows every time he comes in this ring, he's improving. So I'm expecting a more improved Morales as well tonight.
This bout once again scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And introducing first, fighting out of the black corner, trained in boxing and Muay Thai, he is coming off the biggest win of his career. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, 1.81 meters, and he weighed in at 169.5 pounds, 76.9 kilos. Fighting tonight out of Mexico by way of Chicago, here is Daniel La Maquina Morales. His opponent standing on my left and fighting out of the white corner, a Glory Tournament champion. His professional record, 11 wins with just 5 losses. 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, 1.75 meters, and weighed in at fight time at an even 170 pounds, 77.1 kilos. He's here tonight, fighting out of Itasca, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Maximus Abraham. And the third man inside the ropes, your referee, is Chris Wagner.
Right here, right here. All right, gentlemen, we got your instructions in the dressing room on a nice, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. In case of a knockdown, go to the neutral corner I tell you to go to. Remain there until I call you out. Any questions over here? Any questions over here? Fight fair, fight hard. Touch him up. Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Daniel Morales, a vegan for several years, but his new coaching staff said, listen, if you want to knock guys out, you got to start eating meat. So that's what Daniel's been doing He's been eating animals, he said, for the past 4 months and feels he has the power to drop Richard Abraham tonight. Morales wearing black gloves, Richard Abraham in the white.
And in that face-off, Morales went right up to Abraham and whispered, "You're going to take the first step back." And that's why he came out really aggressive like that, and they smiled at each other.
Both fighters with several hundred fans here in attendance at the Sears Center, and they will erupt.
Watch your head, watch your head. Both of you, watch your heads. You clear? We clear? We clear? Right.
Richard Abraham suffering tough back-to-back losses to Antoine Pinto, who you saw just moments ago, and Jamie Bates. Daniel Morales, a very impressive victory in his last fight against Pavel Jurček. Nice right hand from Abraham.
Well done. Morales wants to sit in the pocket. I was expecting him to move a little bit more. But he's content staying in the pocket with Abraham.
Another overhand right. This is the fight Abraham wants. Stand in the middle of the ring and let's slug it out. Abraham was actually going to spar with Morales a few months ago. They were getting in touch with each other, but then found out that he was going to be fighting Morales next, so said those plans won't happen, but believes they'll become friends and sparring partners when this one's over. And they go at it again. It looks like Abraham getting the best of the exchanges so far.
Yeah, it's really tough, and that right hand from Abraham is one of his most vicious shots, and he's landed a few times. But Morales isn't phased.
Uppercut there from Morales, just missed with the left hook.
I do like those low kicks Abraham's throwing. He can mix them up with his punches. They can do a lot of damage.
Abraham believes technique-wise he's at another level than Morales. As Morales smiles off these shots, but he's taken too many, Joe.
Yeah, he's definitely taking too many. He needs to counter back more. There's a hook cross counter.
Oh, and a right hand connects for Abraham, who's talking smack back now. This is good stuff, an old Chicago style. Both fighters told us yesterday, we're not going to stand in the ring and slug it out. Well, guess what? They were wrong.
And it's Morales bringing it out of him. He wants the fight.
This is what their respective fan bases came here for. That is Richard Abraham's wife, Kelly Abraham. And you know, she likes to let loose when she can. She's got 6 kids at home. Let her have her moment.
And let's take a look at what Richard Abraham did in round 1. It was Morales really wanted to establish the center of the ring. And in the beginning, it was Abraham moving, but he decided to get in the pocket and exchange right back. Just clipped him with the left hook, missed the right. Nice slip under that left hook. Good head movement from both guys.
Look at Abraham
but
talking
bang,
smack.
It was that right hand.
This is a fun fight. The sky is endless for the winner of this fight. You know they'll get a big name next. But who's it going to be? Who'd you give round 1 to there, Joe?
Well, that's Abraham. He's landing more, moving more, and did the most damage, especially with that right hand. There we go. Morales is being a little bit more active.
Are you surprised that it's Morales, for the most part, who's pushing the tempo?
Morales does have good footwork. He has a good boxing background, so I expected him to use his jab a little bit more versus that forward aggressive pressure of Abraham.
Clean, clean, back it up clean. Fight!
Not too sure why he's decided to stay in the pocket. Just wants to put on an exciting fight for all his fans.
You saw the total strikes. Very lopsided for Abraham. He's landed more kicks as well.
Both guys just getting punch hungry. Let's mix in some kicks.
An uppercut there clipped Abraham.
Both guys are doing a good job at moving their heads, getting their head off center line.
Abraham, the minus 225 favorite coming into this fight. There's a body kick, Joe.
I like Richard Abraham's low kick. Even Morales showed a good low kick in his last fight. He even spent time going to Holland to learn the Dutch-style kickboxing at Coliseum Gym. He has a new team back in Chicago, but he still says he used what he learned in Holland in his new camp.
Good level change from Abraham. Started downstairs, then ended up top. But Morales throwing back.
Nice kick-punch combination from Richard.
Kick. Morales just does not have the tempo and output to keep up with Maximus so far.
And that's why Richard's doing so well. He is being active. He's mixing his punches and his kicks. He's flowing well.
I told you about Morales changing his diet. Richard Abraham did as well. This is a guy who loves to drink beer and eat tacos, but said, I completely cleaned up my diet for this fight. I'm on the straight and narrow. And he looks phenomenal so far.
If you want to be a world champion in this sport, you got to dedicate your full life to it.
Time! 1 round to go. And the Abraham fans have plenty to cheer about so far.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's 2 rounds to 0. Abraham's doing a good job at relaxing this round, and he was throwing a lot of good combinations, which was very impressive.
Abraham looks as fresh as a daisy in his corner. And that's not what we've seen recently in his last couple fights, especially against Jamie Bates. He looked exhausted in that 3rd round.
Yeah, because Richard has this tendency to want to throw everything with a lot of power. And in this last round, we saw some development. He wasn't throwing everything with power. He slowed it down, mixed up his punch and his kicks combinations, which slowed down Morales. So very impressive round for Richard Abraham.
Hello to Jamie, getting us set for round 3. Jamie Sullivan on Instagram and Twitter. Fight! 3 minutes to go here. Richard Abraham and Daniel Morales. Morales, according to your scorecard, Joe, needs a knockdown. How does he get it?
Well, by putting this forward pressure, not waiting too long to throw, and making sure he counters back. Don't just let Richard throw his punches and move. Counter right back with some punches of your own. There's a knee. Mix it up. Maybe throw some kicks. He hasn't thrown many kicks.
Abraham letting his hands go. No fatigue so far from him. And that left hook got Morales off balance.
There's definitely an improvement in Abraham's boxing. He's able to hit, move his head, keep hitting, coming forward. There's the counters from Morales that he needs.
Right hand connects. And now Morales, you can sense and realizes, hey, I'm getting hit. I've got to start rolling the dice here.
Yeah, he's working his footwork in. He's moving his weight forward to get more power behind those punches.
Abraham with a left hand, and now he's got Morales in the corner. High kick from Abraham. He wants a knockdown, and he gets it.
Beautiful left hook down the guard of Morales.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on. Are you okay? You want to continue? Yes. Walk this way.
Morales says he wants to continue. It's that warrior spirit, but he's got a minute 15 to go here.
Fight!
So now definitely Morales needs a knockout.
And he has 1 minute to do it. He's got to throw something different. Maybe a high kick. Change it up.
Abraham, you know he wants to please his fans. He wants a KO himself. They exchange kicks. Entertaining stuff here from the Sears Center. Oh, big hand from Abraham as a right cross.
And when he's coming forward, he's slowly angling himself. That's why that left hook is doing a lot of damage.
30 seconds left. Abraham wants a knockout. Morales needs a knockout. Morales showing a lot of heart, though, still coming back.
Fight.
10 seconds to go. Couple of punches landed from Morales.
Both ending up really strong.
Great fight. And they'll hug it out at the end, and for good reason. A standing ovation here for Richard Abraham and Daniel Morales.
Very entertaining fight. Both guys really decided to sit in the pocket and exchange, so put on an exciting fight for everyone in Chicago.
Richard Maximus Abraham jumps on the ropes to celebrate his sure-to-be victory. Here's the knockdown. Abraham, left hand and a doozy. Ladies and gentlemen, Glory is excited to announce that on October 14th, we are headed to China. Let's look back at the amazing press conference from last week.
Guangzhou, China. Are you ready for glory?
Kickboxing comes to China and the great city of Guangzhou.
Let's meet some of the athletes on this card. Qinghao Meng Jie Lu Wei Zhou. And then the first ever Asian featherweight qualifying tournament. Chen Chen Li Masaya Kubo. Chen Long Zhang Quake Taranaki. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the evening, making his first ever Glory appearance, Antonio Bigfoot Silva. He will be taking on the reigning Glory heavyweight champion of the world, Rico Verhoeven.
When two guys from Chicago get in the same ring, this is the kind of fight the fans want to see.
Yeah, and it was awesome to have Morales whisper in Abraham's ear saying, let's not take a step back, and that's what they did this for all 3 rounds. Richard Abraham did a good job at staying active when Morales was looking to use his counter-punching, but we've seen a lot of good improvements from Richard Abraham's last fight, and I really like that he just stayed relaxed and was able to put his combinations together. Back in round 2, started mixing his kicks a little bit more, flowing a little bit more punch to kick, kick to punch combinations. And in round 3, Abraham just looked more, like he had more energy, and he kept coming forward, and then he just angled off with that left hook right between the defense and Morales. And that just put the nail in the coffin for him. Both guys finishing as hard as they can, back and forth.
Let's look at our final fight statistics here between Richard Abraham and Daniel Morales. Strikes by round. All 3 rounds, Richard Abraham had the edge. Strikes absorbed. Look into the head. 76 strikes to the head of Daniel Morales. Richard Abraham did his work. Into the ring now, the official decision from Tim Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of kickboxing, we go to the judges' scorecard, and they score this bout 30-26, 30-26, and 30-26. A unanimous decision. All for your winner, Richard Abraham.
And now we send it into the ring, and Whitney Miller with a very jubilant Richard Abraham.
Richard, wow, you said you wanted to put on a show in your hometown, and obviously you did. What an amazing performance. Tell us, you didn't want to come in here and have a slugfest, but you guys did. So what happened there?
What do you think, Chicago? Man, Danny's a great guy. He trains hard. He's a really good guy. You know, I'm really looking forward to training with him after this. I wanted to train with him before, but, you know, business is business, and, you know, he's a hell of a fighter. Without him, you know, we wouldn't have had this amazing show tonight. Just want to thank God. Thank you, each and one of my fans that came, bought a shirt, a hat, reached out to me. I love you guys. You know, bless up.
You did an amazing job. Wow, thank you again. Congratulations. Chicago, give it up one more time for both of your hometown heroes.
Well, Richard Abraham, like I said, is no longer drinking beer or tacos, but maybe tonight he gets back on the wagon.
Well, he deserves it after that performance and showing his improvements and a lot of weight off his shoulder after this one.
Coming up later, a welterweight rematch, but the stakes are much higher this time round. Cedric Doumbé puts his world title on the line for the 3rd time as he meets the aggressive and controversial Myrtle Grunhard, who promises to knock the Frenchman out and leave Chicago as a world champion. But first, the welterweight contender tournament final.
Time, ladies and gentlemen, for the finals of our contender tournament, and about scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. A methodical approach in his semifinal with well-timed scoring blows led to his unanimous decision win. Welcome back, Antoine Pinto.
Well, Joe, I don't think there's any doubt as to who the fresher fighter is for this tournament final, and you're looking at him, Antoine Pinto.
Yeah, he had a good, easier fight where he defeated Zach Quinnell, really used his kicks as his main weapon, and I anticipate him doing the same thing against Grigorian tonight. He's going to use his kicks versus that forward, heavy power of Grigorian.
Antoine Pinto picked up his 133rd professional win. This is a guy who started fighting as a teenager in Muay Thai in Thailand, was a top 10 Muay Thai fighter by the age of 17, and with a win tonight in this fight, Joe, will be soon fighting for the welterweight championship of the world.
Yeah, and it's a lot. This is going to be his toughest kickboxing challenge, and he's been working his boxing to improve his kickboxing, and Harut's that guy that's going to really test out how much his boxing has improved.
A series of brutal body shots and powerful head kick combinations led to his unanimous decision win in the semis. Here comes Harut Grigorian.
Well, he's all smiles, Joe. Harut Grigorian with a very difficult opening bout against Karim bin Mansour. He took a lot of damage. What do you make of his chances in this final?
Well, he was the first fight of the tournament. He did have that extra time to recover, so hopefully that helped him. But who knows how much damage his shin took, his body took, and his head took. But he has a very good chance because his style does well against that traditional Muay Thai style of Pinto.
Well, the Nick Hemmer's gym philosophy is basically you win the fight before the fight. He's put in the rounds of sparring. He's put in all the hard work. So this, for him at least, should be easier than what he deals with on a daily basis in the Netherlands.
Yeah, what makes this fight tough for him is that Pinto's going to try to take him out of his traditional ways, and that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to get past those kicks, get on the inside, and power punch.
It's now time for the welterweight contender tournament final. Harut Grigorian and Antoine Pinto, both men in their 20s, but it'll be the Frenchman who has a height and reach advantage.
And it's also Pinto who has more professional experience, but that 56 fights of Grigorian is more in the kickboxing rules, so he definitely has an advantage when it comes to kickboxing.
Fatigue factor so important when you've already fought once earlier tonight, and there's no doubt that Harut Grigorian had a tougher first fight.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the finals of our welterweight contender tournament, scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the black corner. He now improves his record to 133 wins, 36 losses, 1 draw, and 77 career knockouts. At 6 feet, 1/2 inch tall, 1.84 meters. He weighed in at 169 1/2 pounds, 76.9 kilos. Back tonight, fighting out of France by way of Bangkok, Thailand. Here again, Antoine Pinto. Here now is his opponent, standing on my left and fighting out of the white corner. His record now improves to 45 wins with 11 losses and 32 career knockouts. At 5 feet 11 inches tall, 1.80 meters, he weighed in at 169 1/2 pounds, 76.9 kilos. He fights out of Armenia by way of Belgium. Here again, Harut Grigorian. And the referee in charge of this bout is Dave Smith.
Step up. All right, guys, for the final, you guys both know the rules. Clean, fair fight, start to finish. Touch them up, step back. Good luck to you both.
All right, Joe, what are we in store for here in this, our welterweight contender tournament final?
Well, you're going to see the kicks of Pinto versus the aggressive boxing of Harut. Can Pinto keep him away? Can Harut get on the inside?
And this fight might have looked completely different if it were on any other night when both men hadn't just had a 3-round fight. But those are the ways of glory. You fight twice in one night and you get a title shot. Harut Grigorian in the white gloves, Pinto in the black.
Pinto starting with his jab, his lead teep, and his round kicks.
And Grigorian starting out much slower than he did earlier tonight. Usually comes out like a bull in a china shop.
Well, he has to be a little bit more strategic with that fatigue factor. So he's going to have to try to wait, be patient. But when he gets on the inside, that's when he has to capitalize. Don't waste energy. So this is why he's waiting and then trying to counter. This is where Pinto needs to avoid being. Don't sit there against the ropes.
Pinto said he's been working on his boxing this camp.
Those punches up.
And from what you saw in his first fight, has he improved?
Well, he has. He didn't have to use it. That's the thing. I think what he mentioned, he says, yes, my boxing is improving, but I don't want to use it unless I have to. He's going to stick to his Muay Thai roots, which he's doing with his front kick and his round kicks.
There's a high kick from Pinto. And a knee from Grigorian, follows it up with a 1-2.
This is the area that Pinto needs to work and Harut needs to stay. Get there and start throwing punches and bunches.
It's very hard to rattle Antoine Pinto considering he's had 170 professional fights. He's seen it all.
Don't hold. Don't hold.
But the thing with Pinto is in the inside, he's allowed to clinch in Muay Thai, and he has very good clinch sweeps and elbows. But now with glory rules, he has to sit there and use his boxing. This is where Harut's capitalizing on that.
Watch your heads. Watch your heads, both of you.
Surprisingly, the shorter Harut Grigorian has landed a couple of powerful knees to the head. And a nice left hook there from Pinto, caught Grigorian coming in.
Step back. Stop. Break. Break. Let's go. him go. Let him go. Arms free. Arms free. Let him go. Let him go.
A win here in this fight, and you get a future world title shot. Everything on the line.
I like that Gregorian's countering kick for kick.
Watch your heads inside, guys. Let's go.
Pinto's landing to the body. Harut countering to the legs.
Gregorian had the best moment in this round. Ooh. But it's Pinto who's landed more often.
Stop. Do not hold his head. Time.
Well, Joe, how did you score that one?
Well, that's really tough because Pinto was doing so well in the beginning of the round, being able to keep Gregorian away, but every time Gregorian got on the inside and landed his punches, they were doing damage and they were doing well. So I'm going to have to go based on damage, maybe a slight advantage for Harut Gregorian based on just landing and doing more damage when he did punch on the inside.
Keep that fucking hand up, okay? Keep that hand up. Do not hold the head. Do not hold the head. Go.
Round 2, scheduled for 3. Antoine Pinto and Harut Gregorian. A very close round 1. Let's see what happens here in the second stanza.
Pinto back to the front kick. Harut establishing the center of the ring.
Oh, and a left hand connects, and Pinto rattled a little bit.
He slipped a few punches. Now he's opening up, but he's keeping his chin high.
Caught a left hook.
He just blew some blood out of his nose.
But Pinto, to his credit, did not go down.
Now Pinto was trying to stay relaxed, fight on the outside, but not against Harut. He's going to force you into a fight.
Interesting that Gregorian came out much faster here in round 2 than he did in round 1.
Yeah, and he's taking Pinto out of his comfort zone.
Work out. Come on, work out. Pray. Come on, guys, work out. Go.
And another left hand for Gregorian. That's been the best punch he's thrown in this fight. The left hook to the jaw.
In those boxing exchanges, Pinto keeps his chin a little too high. His coach Elroy in between rounds was telling him to keep his hands up.
Come on, head up. Do not push down. Let's go.
Wait, I tell you what, Gregorian, who was on the wrong end of what many people considered a cheap shot, could have thrown a knee there when Pinto was bent over, but elected not to, and now they'll exchange. And it seems like Gregorian's going to win those boxing exchanges every time.
Don't hold his head.
That's what Pinto does best. Kicks to the body and to the head.
Yeah, a lot of those kicks, though, they're going off Gregorian's arms. They're not scoring on the body. So even though he's throwing them and they're slowing them down, might not be scoring. But you can definitely tell when Gregorian's scoring because he's popping the head of Pinto.
Don't hold, you're going to lose a point. Go.
Referee telling Gregorian to quit holding, you're going to lose a point.
Could make things interesting.
Don't hold. Right. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Gregorian looking up at the clock. About a half minute to go in round 2.
Pinto tried to land a knee, but Gregorian again back with his boxing.
Work out.
And Pinto is playing with fire every time he opens up those hands to fight back.
And he tries to close the distance and clinch, but in that process, he ends up eating a few punches.
Ray, come on, guys, don't hold, let's go.
And you wouldn't think, by the way this fight's gone, that Harut Gregorian had a much tougher first fight.
He's definitely recovered from it.
Round 1, a close one. Round 2, definitely tilting towards the Armenian, Harut Gregorian.
Absolutely. He's doing a lot of good success with his boxing. You've seen him do a lot of damage because he was popping the head of Pinto every time he landed those punches.
Let's look back and watch some of the damage done by Harut Gregorian.
And there he goes. He was able to get on the inside, land those good punches. Pinto was too content with staying in range and trying to punch back. He needs to create his distance, keep his space, but let's see, this slipped off that hand, but then came right back, and they both exchanged left hooks there.
Harut took a shot as well, not quite the same violence that Antoine Pinto absorbed, but Pinto is landing punches and kicks. Total strikes are very close, ladies and gentlemen. But Joe, is it safe to say it's Harut who's doing more damage?
Yes, it's definitely, you can see the damage every time Harut lands his boxing. So yes, the damage, definitely advantage goes to Harut.
3 minutes stands between one of these two combatants and a world title shot. This is the finals of the welterweight contender tournament. Round 3, Pinto and Grigorian.
Pinto comes right in, trying to keep the distance close to land those knees.
Second warning, don't hold, don't clinch. Let's go.
Boy, a point deduction at this point in the game would be fatal for Antoine Pinto. Oh, he may have been caught there on the temple. Pinto's legs not all there.
And this warning might mess Pinto up because he was using the clinch to avoid the punches. Now he's going to hesitate because he doesn't want that point taken from him.
And I know you're impressed with Harut throwing those kicks back as well, not just fighting with the hands.
Yeah, I like when Harut mixes his kicks and especially his knees.
A low blow, it seems, there for Grigorian.
Come. Time. Corner. This way. Turn around. Turn around. This way. Fighter up. Corner up. Come on. Shift his cup. Quickly. Shift his cup. Up. Stand up. Stand up.
Let's see where this low blow happened.
Shift. Quickly. Quickly.
Could have been the left knee. It was hard to tell from that angle.
It's good. It's good.
And he has to have his cup adjusted. That's always a fun job for a corner man to do.
It's his brother.
Okay, turn around. Turn around. No coaching. No coaching. Come on. It's good. Turn around.
So a moment of reprieve here for Antoine Pinto.
Keep it up. Don't
The
clinch.
clock is stopped.
You ready? Over. Time in. Let's go.
So back at it they go. 2 minutes left here in round 3.
Grigorian using a nice feint there.
Oh, and a right hand from Grigorian, and now he's opening up.
That little break gave him some energy.
And oh, he's just charging at him. Great stamina being displayed here by Harut Grigorian, who was in a 3-round dogfight earlier tonight against Karim bin Mansour.
Very impressive.
Let him go. Let him go.
Landed a nice sneaky uppercut on the inside.
And this is where those brutal training sessions come into play in the Netherlands, those sparring sessions at Nick Hemmer's gym.
Work out, work out, work. Right. Go.
Does Pinto, in your mind, need a knockdown here, Joe?
He definitely does, in my opinion. He's just taking too many punches against the ropes.
Let him go, let him go. Don't
His
hurt
arm kicks aren't doing enough
Work,
damage.
guys. Watch
He
out.
has to change it up. Kick the leg, kick the body, kick the head, not just the arms. Nice left hook on the inside.
Oh, and Pinto is a mess right now. Push down, that's not a knockdown.
Come on up, come on up. Give me gloves. Give me gloves. Don't push down. Turn around, let's go.
About a half minute to go.
Let him go, come on, work out.
Harut Grigorian looks like he's on his way to a world title shot. And what a comeback story this would be after that unbelievable knockout he suffered against Murdo Grunhard. An uppercut. Pinto looks like he's ready to go.
His body looks like it's hurt, and his head's wide open.
Pinto just doesn't have the answer for Grigorian, who's pulling out all the stops with 10 seconds left.
Shoulder, 10 seconds.
What a performance for Harut Grigorian, the best night of his professional career. And Grigorian who never talks, who shows very little emotion, has plenty of it right now.
He's definitely got to feel a lot of pressure off him after that KO loss. But he just showed he was 100% ready for this tournament. And to fight 2 fights in one night and to put on an impressive performance against the experienced Pinto shows a lot about Grigorian.
We'll make it official and get you set for our main event when we return. Welcome back ringside here in Chicago. Todd Grisham and Joseph Valtellini being joined by Glory's newest signing, middleweight Chris Camozzi, who joins us from the UFC. 19 fights in the UFC. Your thoughts on joining us here at Glory?
Man, I'm telling you right now, I can't wait. Being here tonight, this is amazing. This event has been awesome. Glory's production has always been amazing, and I can't wait to get in there.
When are you looking at making your debut?
It looks like it's going to be December 1st at Madison Square Garden, which is a dream come true. Like I said, man, I cannot wait to get in there.
And how are you preparing for it?
I prepare like I do every fight. I'm ready for that grind. I don't think guys can keep up with me. Let's do it.
How's it feel to go to the gym and not have to go straight to the mat and wrestle with guys all the time?
I love it. I don't have to wrestle around with sweaty dudes, and I get to hit the bag and hit people instead.
Can't wait to see you in action. Thanks for the quick interview, Chris. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Brother.
It was a virtuoso performance for Harut Grigorian against Antoine Pinto in the tournament final.
In the first round, Pinto did a good job at trying to keep Grigorian away with his teep and his round kicks, but then Grigorian started getting more active with his boxing. Once he closed the distance, came in, started throwing his power punches, landed some good uppercuts, a lot of good hooks, especially when Pinto was moving back just like that. And then when Grigorian has you in the corner, he's just going to keep unloading and unloading, and this third round was just a beast mode for Grigorian. This was his 6th round today, and he just found this energy where he was able to put some good power punches together and almost get the knockout.
And props to Antoine Pinto, who refused to go down despite absorbing several power punches. In fact, 108 total strikes landed by Grigorian to Pinto's 90.
And it was all in the punches of Grigorian, and you can see Grigorian really focusing his punches on his head, where Pinto was using his kicks to the body.
The official decision now, courtesy of Tim Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 tournament rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. Here are the totals. Judge Gabriel Zabatis and Matt Janasek score them out 29-28. Judge Brandon Mason sees it 30-27, a unanimous decision, all for your winner, and now Glory Tournament Champion, Harut Grigorian. His trophy, our Chief Executive Officer, John Franklin, and from our Talent Ops Department, Robbie Timmers.
A great moment for Harut Grigorian. A great moment for Harut Grigorian, and a great comeback after being knocked out unconscious a couple of months ago in Paris. Harut Grigorian, Joe, a shot at the welterweight title forthcoming.
Yeah, before that Myrtle knockout, he was right up there, and that was the fight that could have put him in a title shot. But winning this contendership puts him a new mix for a world title fight, and I'm excited to see a new, welterweight contender against either Doumbé or Grunhard.
Speaking of whom, next up, it's the fight kickboxing fans around the world have been waiting for. Doumbé and Grunhard for all the marbles. As we get set for our main event tonight, Whitney Miller spoke with both the challenger and the contender.
Here we are with your champion, Cedric Doumbé, as he prepares to defend his belt against Myrtle Gruenhart. Tell me, he said he was going to knock you out. What are your thoughts on that?
What? He say that? Yes, of course. You know, everybody want to knock the champ out. You know, but they can try. Before the belt, I say that I'm the best, and I prove it when I beat Nicky. I prove it again when I beat him twice. And now Myrtle, I beat him once. He won the belt, of course. He deserves a title shot as he beat Arut, but everybody don't like the money as he beat him. But okay, the rules are the rules. Yeah, he can try to knock me out, but I think that's just the world, you know. Inside the ring, words don't matter anymore, only fist.
Well, good luck tonight. I know this is going to be a very exciting match. I'm backstage with your challenger, Myrtle Gruenhart. Myrtle, sometimes when I see you backstage, you're a bit, you know, you're joking around a bit more, and I feel like this time you have a little bit of a different demeanor. What do you describe? What's going on with you right now?
I'm focused now, totally focused, you know. Everything what been said has been said, and now I'm focused and ready to take that belt.
How do you plan to take that belt from Cedric Doumbé?
I'll put some pressure on him, and I'll just knock him out.
He's always taunting you on social media just like everybody else, but does that get in your head at all?
No, not at all, because he saw me. I'm focused now. I don't let him get in my head.
Good luck tonight, Myrtle.
Thanks a lot.
Cedric, the best, Doumbé.
Myrtle don't deserve to do a title shot against me because I'm too strong for him. Come on.
When I get that title, when I knock Doumbé down, it's all worth it.
Myrtle Gruenhart always looks for a spectacular finish.
The reigning and defending Glory welterweight champion of the world.
These two don't like each other, and this should be a stand-up war.
A 3-fight win streak propels him into another chance to be crowned world champion. Here is Myrtle Gruenhart.
There is the Predator, Myrtle Gruenhart, the #1 ranked welterweight in the world today. Joe, I don't think I've ever seen a fighter more convinced that he's going to knock out a man that has never been knocked out before.
Yeah, and he has to, and he's seen guys like Mickey Holtzkin have a hard time even hitting Doumbé, so he knows he really has to bring the pressure. He needs to bring the heat. He needs to bring the best Myrtle Gruenhart.
This is the third title opportunity for Myrtle Gruenhart. He's 30 years old, in the prime of his career. He's fighting better than ever. We saw what he did to Harut Grigorian in Paris.
Yeah, he really shown in his last few fights that he has a lot of good power. We seen him last time here in Chicago with a good TKO win over Tong Chai, Sitsong Pinong, and his last fight with that powerful hook over Grigorian.
Gruenhart telling us yesterday, I'll knock him out. If he makes it past round 3, I'll be surprised.
And he does have a good chance. He's very unorthodox. He doesn't throw things normally. And just as you think Myrtle's out of it, he comes back with some good combinations, good power kicks, some flying knees out of nowhere. So that unpredictability works in his favor for this fight.
Grunhardt's first title opportunities came against Nicky Holzken. The first one was razor close. The second one, not so much. But Grunhardt feels his style is the best in the world to upend Cedric Doumbé.
Yeah, I agree, because Doumbé is very tricky himself. And Grunhardt bringing that different style to Doumbé could work in his favor.
He's certainly soaking in the moment right now. He's earned that right. He comes in as the underdog. Cedric Doumbé, a -220 favorite according to MMA Odds Breakers.
He not only carries the glory belt to the ring, but with it, the spirit of his fellow French countrymen. Here is Cedric Doumbé.
What a ride this young man has been on. He's only 24 years old, and since coming to glory and losing his first fight to Yoan Kongolo, he's gone from relative unknown to contender to champion to what many consider to be one of, if not the best pound-for-pound kickboxers in the world.
Yeah, he's just improved at an incredible pace, and just to see it has been absolutely incredible. And what he did to Nicky Holzken 2 times, you know, some people thought the first one was lucky, but he wanted that second fight to show that I am that much better, and I am the pound-for-pound welterweight champion.
The Netherlands, considered the birthplace, the home of modern kickboxing, and they are very stingy with their compliments for fighters that don't live and train in the Netherlands. Doumbé obviously from Paris, France, and yet you talk to any of the great trainers in Amsterdam, in Rotterdam, they all give this man props and say, listen, he is everything he claims to be.
Yeah, and he does it by being so unorthodox and tricky. He's not your typical kickboxer where he's just going to stand and throw basic combinations. He's going to move on angles, he's going to enter, exit, he's going to make you miss. And what he does so well is he gets in your head, and it starts from the pre-fight. He gets on social media, he trash talks you, he'll put different memes and pictures up mocking you, so he really gets in your head to bring that aggressive style so he can use his movement and angles and really punish you for it.
Well, the dance competition before the fight will be about as competitive as the fight itself, it seems. Both these guys soaking it all in. Cedric Doumbé, 67-4-1 overall, 39 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Not known for his power in glory, but he feels tonight it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, it's Myrtle who's really relying on that knockout power for this win, where Doumbé just lets it unfold. He's going to just try to be tricky, land his volume. It's just very hard to hit. And what he said in his pre-fight interview, he said, I've changed so much. I'm improving, where Myrtle has stayed very similar, the same style throughout his career in the last few years. So this is the new evolved look of kickboxing.
Doumbé won his world title back in December, Oberhausen, Germany, beating Nicky Holzken. He then defended his title for the first time against Yoan Kongolo, a dominant performance. Then he got a rematch against Nicky Holzken in his last fight and outlanded Holzken nearly 2-1, Joe. That's unheard of.
Which is crazy, because every time he counters, he's going to counter more than you. If you're going to hit once, he's going to hit you 2-3 times. So he's always going to win the exchange.
Here is our tale of the tape for this, the welterweight championship of the world. It's France versus the Netherlands. Doumbé, 24 years old. Myrtle Grunhardt, he's 30, has a 3-inch height advantage, but the reach exactly the same at 75.5 inches.
And professional experience favors Grunhard. Both guys with very similar KO percentages. So you can't really see who would have an advantage in experience, but Myrtle's been at the higher level for a little longer time than Doumbé.
Here is our fight metric report. Average fight time, Doumbé's a lot longer. He likes to carve up his turkey, whereas Grunhard goes right in and eats it.
And you got to look at that knockdown ratio. Doumbé has given 0 and taken 0, where that 9 of Grunhard, where you know he has a lot of power in all of his strikes if he has 9 knockdowns.
Here are the championship rules in Glory. This is a 5-round fight, 3 minutes each. Punches, kicks, knees, those are the legal strikes. No elbows, throws, or sweeps.
Tonight in Chicago, 3 judges will be scoring the bout using the 10-point must system. Scoring is based on knockdowns, damage, clean scoring strikes with an emphasis on spectacular techniques. Finally, if there's no clear advantage, judges are looking at aggressiveness.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. 5 rounds for the Glory Welterweight Championship of the World, and a rematch of a meeting in Paris 1 year ago. But this time, the belt is on the line between the top 2 in the division. This bout sanctioned by the Illinois State Athletic Commission. And at the opening bell, your referee will be Oscar Martinez. From the heartland of America to the hearts of Glory fans tuned in around the world, it's time for Glory! Let's meet the challenger fighting out of the black corner. He is a 2-time Glory Contender Tournament champion and a European and World Max champion. His professional record, 66 wins, 22 losses, 3 bouts scored even, and 39 career knockouts. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, 1.85 meters, and he weighed in at 168 1/2 pounds, 76.4 kilos. Fighting tonight out of the Netherlands, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Myrtle, the Predator, Grunhard. His opponent standing on my left and fighting out of the white corner made his second defense of the belt in Paris at Glory 42. His record, 67 wins, 4 losses, 1 bout scored even, and 39 career knockouts. At 5 feet 10 inches tall, 1.77 meters, he weighed in at fight time at an even 169 pounds, 76.7 kilos. Fighting out of Laval Wall, Paris, France, ladies and gentlemen, the reigning and defending Glory Welterweight Champion of the World, the best, Cedric Doumbé. Once again, your referee in charge of this championship bout is Oscar Martinez.
Fighter, come on over. Let's go, fighter. All right, gentlemen, world title on the line. Fight fair, fight clean, obey my commands at all times. Any questions? Any questions? Touch them up. Back to your corners, guys. Judge?
They do not touch gloves.
Judge?
Cedric Doumbé calls himself the best. Can Myrtle Grunhard prove him wrong?
Fight!
This for the welterweight championship of the world. Doumbé in the white gloves, the challenger Grunhard wearing black.
Let's see how both of these guys approach this fight.
They both predicted a knockout. Grunhard says he'll do it within 3 rounds, but no one's even knocked Doumbé down, much less knocked him out. How do you knock out Cedric Doumbé, who's perhaps the best defensive fighter in all of Glory?
Well, that's the puzzle everyone's trying to find out.
It's almost like, I'm sorry, what we might see tomorrow night in Las Vegas. McGregor versus Mayweather. There's maybe a knockdown. Let's see. Calling it a slip, perhaps.
Slip.
McGregor fighting the best defensive boxer maybe of all time. promising a knockout. Grunhard doing the same against Doumbé. I think it's safe to say that Grunhard has a better shot. Well, they are swinging for the hills early, though, aren't they, Joe?
Yeah, they're both putting a lot of power behind everything.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
But Doumbé's feints are doing a really good job at the outside. He fakes, and you don't know if it's a kick or a punch coming.
Doumbé only 24 years old. He told us, listen, I've already beaten Grunhard once about a year ago, and I've grown so much, I've gotten better since then. Grunhard has stayed the same. Do you agree with that analysis?
Well, Grunhard brings a good pressure style, and he's fought very similar. It's just seeing Doumbé grow so much. Myrtle's style is very effective. It works well. This is why he's fighting for a world title. But it's that different style that Doumbé brings that's giving guys a hard time.
Bit of a chaotic first 2 minutes here in this fight. No one really landing any strong shots, but they both tried their best, unloading on each other early.
See, those knees can come out from anywhere. That's what makes Myrtle super dangerous.
Both men trying to settle into this fight right now, find a rhythm. Hard round to score so far. Couple nice leg kicks there from Doumbé, the champion.
Nice slip from Doumbé.
Stop! Stop!
Both
stop,
guys trying
stop.
to find their feet.
Stop! Clean break! Turn around, fighter! Fight! Time!
Round one. Joe, how did you score that one?
Well, it was a tough round. You can't really, it's hard to tell.
No one won it definitively.
No, definitely not. But looking at scoring, it's going to come down to probably who was more aggressive that round. So could it be Doumbé controlling the center of the ring, keeping Myrtle against the ropes? Or was it Myrtle coming in and throwing those wild attacks, trying to land those big knees?
Yeah. Good, Oliver. Yeah. Good job.
Well, Grunhard is known for his knees, Joe. He tried it a couple times, but did not find the mark.
But that's how you're going to catch someone like Doumbé. Throwing your regular strikes, your regular jab, your cross, your low kicks aren't going to land. He's too slick for that.
Stylistically, that was a little uncharacteristic of Cedric Doumbé there in round one.
Well, yeah, he's trying to get in the head of Myrtle. He's trying to get Myrtle to come aggressive. And the way he slipped off that knee and came in with that combination at the end just shows what he's trying to do.
Doumbé has taken some criticism for running, Joe, but anyone who knows the fight game knows that Doumbé is not a runner.
No, he's walking you into things. He's hitting on angles. And every time he does throw a combination, he throws in volume. He doesn't throw singles. He usually follows up when he has you moving back.
This is not the kind of stylistic fight that I think we expected.
I thought Myrtle should be a little bit more active, but it is still early in the fight. Maybe he's taking these 2 rounds to figure out Doumbé, then put the pressure on as the fight goes on.
Clean break. No tripping.
Cedric Doumbé coming off really the best performance of his career against Nicky Holzken in his home country of France. A great display, and now he comes to the United States to defend his title for a 3rd time as Grunhard lands a knee as Doumbé was going down.
Back. Fight!
Doumbé with the low kick.
Boy, I tell you what, Doumbé left his chin out there for a second.
You need to be careful because he slipped on the camera cable.
Fighter, neutral corner. Good. Fighter ready? Fighter ready? All right, fight!
Grunhard putting his mouthpiece back in.
Nice punch kick combination.
It does seem that both men are going for that knockout. Not a lot of pity patter type of stuff in there right now.
It's still early. It's a 5-round fight. Both staying very patient. Just waiting for that right opportunity to explode.
There are the leg kicks. Grunhard has not landed a single one yet. That won't make Big Mike happy in his corner.
Nice left kick from Doumbé.
Stop! Watch the grabbing, okay?
A very awkward fight thus far.
Both guys are just very awkward fighters.
Oh, Doumbé got his hands up just in time to block that kick, but Grunhard landed some power punches there.
He slipped some right hands in there.
So a good exchange and a good moment there for Cedric Doumbé to end round 2, and it may have won in that round.
Well, that was actually Myrtle Grunhard who came in.
Excuse me, yes.
Yeah, Myrtle had a good finish there, and that's what's going to make him do really well, because he needs to really go in there and try to overwhelm Doumbé, and that's what he did at the end here.
Yeah, my apologies. It was Grunhard landing the punches. That was the key block there from Doumbé, but you see him get caught here one more time.
Nothing really flush, but still looks like a very dominant exchange. That was the right hand. Defended the rest of the punches.
From what you can tell, what is the game plan of Cedric Doumbé right now? Does he have one?
Well, it looks like he's trying to figure it out still, and he really hasn't put any volume combinations together like we've seen in the past. I just think he's being really cautious with that awkward Myrtle style.
But usually it seems like he sticks and moves, jumps inside, jumps outside. Now he comes in flying, throwing power punches.
But that's what makes Myrtle very good and dangerous. I think it's a style issue.
So round 3 here. 9 minutes to go. Todd Grisham, Joseph Valtellini ringside. This is for the welterweight championship of the world. The champion Cedric Doumbé defending for the 3rd time wearing the white gloves. Myrtle Grunhard, the Predator, in the black.
Whoa!
Big Mike yelling, tripping.
Second time trip. Second time you trip. No more tripping, okay? Okay? Fighter? Ready? Here we go. Fight!
Big Mike took Myrtle Grunhard under his wing as a teenager, has trained him since the beginning, and told him within the first week of meeting him, I will make you a champion one day. He's got his chance tonight.
He's doing well in exchanges. This fight is up in the air.
Whoa! Fight!
Where are the low kicks from Doumbé? There's one.
He was landing well with them. I think he's just having to respect the power and the punches of Grunhard.
Watch the pushing.
No flow to this contest at all.
They just keep crashing each other's distance, so they make it really hard for them to get any good shots off. Makes it a really scrappy, messy fight.
Doumbé is usually a rhythm fighter, finds his rhythm, gets in, gets out.
But we saw that with Nicky because he's more of a stable fighter, one that stands there, where Myrtle's moving. He'll move back, he moves forward, then all of a sudden he's jumping at you. So it's hard for Doumbé to find his rhythm.
So it's more of what Myrtle is doing as opposed to what Cedric is not doing.
I believe so. That's my opinion.
Knee there from Myrtle, his signature shot. Cedric Doumbé usually all smiles,
He's a comedian, has done some stand-up, considers himself a jokester, but when he gets in the ring, usually he's all business.
He's going back to those low kicks.
Oh, we know that Grunhard will hit you when your back's turned.
Not work. Stop.
It is a defend yourself at all times sport.
Watch the grabby, fighter. Watch the grabby.
And the referee, Oscar Martinez, has his hands full, Joe.
Fight!
That was definitely Doombay's fault. In the middle of the exchange, he just turned his back.
Well, Doumbé needs to be careful. Literally, these rounds could be slipping away from him. We've seen this before from Myrtle Grunhard. A man turns his back and Grunhard fires away. Right there again. Your take on this, Joe?
Well, I think he thought Oscar Martinez was going to stop the fight, so he kind of turned away, but you can't rely on the referee to defend you like that. Doumbé is looking really fatigued in that corner, where Grunhard's looking a little bit more fresh.
Cedric Doumbé did admit that his weight cut yesterday was very tough for him. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, he is fighting on a different time zone with the travel.
So is Myrtle.
Very good point.
Two Europeans fighting in the heartland of America. We're at the Windy City. We're in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, Sears Center. These are the championship rounds. We head into round 4. 6 minutes to go. Welterweight championship of the world on the line.
And it's definitely up for grabs.
Who did you give that round 3 to, Joe?
Well, I like Grunhard in it. I'm giving Grunhard the last 2 rounds. He's going for it more. He's being a little bit more aggressive.
Total strikes, though, tell a completely different story. 51-20.
Fight your way out. Fight your way out.
Myrtle, known as the Predator, got that nickname when his hair was much longer, had dreadlocks. They said he looked like the Predator from the movie.
Let's go, fighters. Come on, fight clean.
He's kept that nickname as he stalks his prey here tonight. The best, Cedric Doumbé.
I'm starting to think it was that weight cut.
Come on up.
Another shove down there for Myrtle Grunhard.
Up, come on. Fight!
Many have described Doumbé as a Picasso in the ring, Joe, but tonight he's more like a car crash.
He doesn't look himself. He definitely doesn't look himself, and I'm thinking it's the weight cut. He's not putting out that aggressive style, that movement that we've seen with Nicky, but I still think it's Grunhard's style that's really throwing him off.
A little pawing left hook from Grunhard lands.
And Myrtle just has such long reach, so as Doumbé thinks he's out of the punch range, Myrtle's still landing.
Off balance goes Doumbé.
Myrtle's trying for that right high knee.
There's Doumbé sliding out. Wonder if that early dancing had an effect on both these guys. Tired them out.
There just doesn't seem to be a threat from Doumbé. He's not really throwing anything that's throwing Myrtle off. He usually has nice uppercuts and he'll throw punches from odd angles. But there's nothing slowing Myrtle from coming forward.
Well, how does this fight resemble the fight they had a few years ago?
Well, when they fought at Glory 20, it's very similar. It's a very scrappy fight like this. So, I don't know, it's kind of being a similar fight. One that's really hard to call.
Well, I don't think either fighter can feel very comfortable heading into round 5. All right, Joe. What would your advice be in the respective corners? Let's start first with the challenger.
Well, with his Grunhardt is keep that pressure up. He seems to be doing a good job with his punches, staying long, staying active, and keep mixing in those knees. They're getting close each time he throws them. For Doumbé, he just needs more threat. He really needs to go and put something together, do something like those uppercuts and move. And like I said, if he has that energy, he's got to find it in this 5th round. Don't hold anything back. It's too close.
Is the 3rd time going to be the charm for Myrtle Grunhardt? It's his 3rd world title opportunity. Doumbé defending his title for the 3rd time. This is the 5th and final round. 3 minutes to go for the welterweight championship of the world.
Fight, last round. Let's go.
They'll touch gloves. They didn't do so at the beginning of the fight. They'll do it now.
They've earned each other's respect.
This fight could easily be 2 rounds apiece. Could be 3-1 either way. There's a high kick that looked worse than perhaps it was.
Yeah, it looked like it nicked off the glove.
Watch holding that head, fighter.
And there's the knee.
Yep, keep those up. They keep getting closer. Myrtle going to the body.
You're right. Doumbé just does not look himself tonight. Just from an output perspective. Granted, he has thrown 175 total strikes compared to 105.
That was better for Doumbé because he's throwing and countering back in combinations. He's not waiting.
And the judges will also certainly notice that it's Grunhardt who's been pressing the attack as well.
Well, it's the 5th scoring criteria. If they're even on knockdowns, which they are, damage looks pretty similar. Clean scoring strikes look similar. Could those flying knees from spectacular techniques be the difference? Could it be the aggressiveness? Judges are earning their money.
In the unlikely event that this is a draw after 5 rounds, they will go to an extra round.
Not in a title fight, Todd. The draw goes to the champion.
Stop.
Well, then forget what I just said.
Clean break. Come on, guys. Let's go. Wait.
Both guys countering back and forth. Not much power left.
A minute to go.
Stop.
You know who Gregorian is watching in the back, the man who won our welterweight contender tournament final? I would imagine he'd want to see Myrtle Grunhardt win so he can get a rematch. A couple of good low kicks there, though, from the champion, Cedric Doumbé.
Doumbé's low kicks have been doing really well. Not doing much damage, but they're still landing.
We could very well see the title change hands here tonight. Doumbé, who looked untouchable against Nicky Holzken, looks beatable tonight and may have been beaten. Ten seconds to go. Another close round.
Stop. Clean break. Fight.
Hey! And that will do it. Do we have a new welterweight champion? Myrtle Grunhardt seems to think so. Joe, how do you have it?
Well, it's too hard for me to call, to be honest with you, but if I had to pick, I'm going to go with just that little bit of aggression by Grunhardt. I mean, a lot of people say you really have to beat the champion in order to take the belt, and it wasn't really an overly decisive win, but Grunhardt did control the pace, did throw, a lot of good power shots. So, it's still up in the air, but I give a slight advantage to Grunhardt.
Well, hey, give Grunhardt credit in the fact that he never let Cedric Doumbé get into a rhythm. Once Doumbé gets into a rhythm, he's almost untouchable, but Grunhardt was able to hit him tonight.
Yeah, he landed some good punches in the exchanges. He started throwing that knee, doing very well with it. Just a good performance. It's very messy from both sides, and I don't know, like I said, it's up in the air, Todd.
Well, either way, Someone's walking out of here with the world title, and most likely they will fight Harut Grigorian next. Myrtle Grunhard just beat Grigorian. As for Cedric Doumbé, hey, listen, this guy thinks he's the best, claims he's the best. Tonight was not his best performance by any stretch of the imagination.
No, he definitely has to go back and try to approach these different fights, and he just has that perfect style for Nicky, but for Grunhard, not so much.
Let's look back at some of the highlights of this welterweight championship fight. 5 rounds between the Predator and the Best.
And this whole fight was both guys having, you know, their best at different times of the fight. Early on, it was Doumbé really trying to use his tricks and to get in the head of Myrtle, but Myrtle did a good job at staying relaxed, staying calm, fighting his fight. He didn't let Doumbé get in his head, and this is when he landed those good right hands in those big boxing exchanges. This was probably the best exchange of the fight. Round 3 was very similar. This is where we almost saw a replay from the Grigorian fight with Myrtle. The same things continues as Myrtle really trying, and he did find success with some of his boxing. Both guys laughing and enjoying this fight. But round 5 could have gone both ways as both guys started to pick up the pace. Doumbé going back to his low kicks.
Here are the final statistics as we start with strikes by round. And Doumbé, Joe, perhaps surprisingly, landed more strikes all 5 rounds.
Watching live, it seemed the other way to me, but Fight Metrics doesn't lie.
Strikes absorbed to the legs, 53, landed to Myrtle Grunhard. And both the combatants can look up at the screen right now and see these stats, but Myrtle with his hand raised, he doesn't think these will matter. So does the aggressor win this fight or the man who landed more strikes? We're about to find out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 5 championship rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. Here now are their totals. Judge Gabriel Sabatis scores at 48-47, Doumbé. Judge Brian Pachillo scores at 48-47, Grunhard. And Judge Calvin Caldwell scores it 49-46 for your winner by split decision. And new Glory welterweight champion of the world, Myrtle Grunhard.
He's done it, ladies and gentlemen.
Here to present the Glory belt, Glory co-founder Scott Rudman, along with the Chief Executive Officer of Grunt Style, Dan Alaric.
Go get your belt, baby.
His trainer, Big Mike, said one day you will be a world champion. I promise you that. And today was that day. Whitney Miller with the new champ.
Myrtle, congratulations. And your coach told you when you were 17 that you were going to be champion.
Yeah.
How good does this feel?
It's lifetime. It's great. I mean, you know, first of all, I want to thank Cedric. You know, he motivates me for this fight. And I'd like to thank Chicago also. My family at home, my trainers, all my coaches who support me back home. The Groene team, all the guys in the gym. And this is, I'm the first with a K1 belt. I mean second with the K1 belt and a Glory belt. In history, Sam Schild and me. This goes in the books.
Now, Cedric seemed a little bit different stylistically tonight. What do you think about that?
You know what it is? When you fight different opponents, you fight different. You know, when you fight Nicky, you fight different. When you fight me, you fight different. Because I put the pressure and I got a different style, so that's the reason.
Well, once again, congratulations to your new champion.
Thank you. And Cedric, bow for your king, man. Bow for your king.
Well, he is the welterweight king, that's for sure. Myrtle Grunhart gets the job done. A split decision victory. Joe, your thoughts?
Well, it was like Myrtle said. He did put the pressure on. It looked like he did want it a little bit more. He kept pushing forward, landing some good shots and good exchanges. Close fight, but the trash talking still continues, and I'm sure we'll see these two again.
Myrtle Grunhart onward and upward as the third time is indeed the charm. He's the new welterweight king. For our director, Rick Tugman, and producer, Bill Borson, Whitney Miller, Joseph Valtellini, I'm Todd Grisham. Thanks for watching Glory 44. We'll see you next month in the Netherlands.
Saturday, September 30th, Glory returns to the home of modern kickboxing for Glory 45 Amsterdam. It's featherweight frenzy as Robin van Roosmalen defends his title against Sergey Adamchuk. Nicky Holzken battles for welterweight contention. And everyone's favorite bad boy, Michael, the Dream Crusher Dude, heads up a four-man light heavyweight tournament. Glory 45 Amsterdam, Saturday, September 30th. Don't miss it.